Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So I've got a new record coming out, a new EP. It's called Escaping the Tunnel, and it's something I've been working on really since November last year, so a few months. I didn't announce anything until most of the work was done. It's just easier that way. That way I can kind of promote the record without having to worry about finishing anything because it's already finished. Sending off to be mastered next week, and I seem to have found somebody that likes the tracks I've sent, so hopefully it'll turn out okay. Thinking back to my album last year, earlier in the year, unfortunately what happened towards the end of that record and making that record, firstly I had to redo all the vocals twice because they weren't good enough. And then even after the finished product was out, I wasn't happy with the vocals for various reasons, unfortunately. My singing really wasn't where it needed to be at that point. It was kind of close, but not quite there. Moreover, I ended up rushing the project for various reasons to get it out, and the mastering was a mess, and a few other things were a mess that really kind of put a dampener on the whole thing for me. So this time things have gone very smoothly. It's been a much easier process putting this EP together. I mean, mainly because it's less tracks. There's 4 tracks on this EP. But secondly, I know where I'm at as a singer now. I know what I'm able to do. I understand what works and what doesn't, and why it works and why it doesn't work when I'm recording. So moreover, I performed every weekend last year in the streets for a couple of hours, singing in front of people in public over really most of this spring, summer and autumn. And that really helped me to understand where I was at with my singing and what needed work and what wasn't working and what was. And unfortunately for me, I was very close for the last probably 3 to 5 years in various ways, but I didn't quite have the independence I needed technically, and also I was making too broad strokes with my compression. I was leaning into my mix too hard, and it was just making things sound a bit tight, a bit pinched, and a bit not quite there. I'd spent the previous year fixing my chest voice, which was a total nightmare to do, and then that work was done when I recorded the last record, but my mix was still tight and I didn't realise, which is what I spent last year fixing. That work being done, I'm in a much better place as a singer. I'm singing more consistently. I'm also addressing my diet, which has helped loads. And just generally, things are looking up. I'm looking forward to performing this year back out in the streets for the summer and doing all that stuff, which is great. Will help me progress even further this year. But that's just a broader context about what's been going on before this record. This record, Escaping the Tunnel, is really, the name's kind of obvious, it's in the name, but it is my attempt to get out of the hell that is being a struggling singer, being a singer that can't put all the pieces together whilst watching other singers who seemingly can so easily. And that's really my goal in this process is, can I create a great record? Can I create a record that will stand the test of time and will have an audience somewhere? The answer to that question up until now has been no, sadly. The quality hasn't been there. Well, whether or not that will change, maybe I'll have to escape the tunnel for a second time in a year or two when I make my next record. But I feel like it's a step forward in the process of escaping the tunnel, in escaping the darkness. One of the things I found as an artist and as a person trying to develop is that I started so far behind everyone else in various ways, in deeper ways than just singing. A very deep lack of confidence, a very deep lack of self-esteem, and a constant battle to become a normal person, in all honesty. I think what most people don't realize, who are living normal lives, who don't have completely debilitating self-confidence and low self-esteem, they don't really understand what it's like, in the sense of, it's very easy to say do X, Y, and Z, but when the foundation is different, when the foundation is wrong, that person isn't able to do what somebody who takes all that stuff for granted is able to do. In life and as an artist, they are held back. They are in a straitjacket, not of their own making, frankly. It's usually because of things that happen to them. A little bit like if you look at a homeless person and you say, dude, just get up and do something. Yeah, in reality, that's kind of true, but the truth behind all of that is that person is living in a paradigm that they cannot escape, not quickly. They can escape, but it's going to take a lot of work and a lot of time, because they really need to change a lot of basic foundational assumptions they have about the world, about themselves, and about life. And doing that goes well beyond just, these are the steps. Doing that requires you to understand, or even finding somebody that understands this deeper process of change. Making this EP is my quest to continue to change and continue to become the person that I wanted to be, become the person that I envision in my head, and become the person who I would frankly have been had I not have had roadblocks put in front of me at a young age. And so escaping the tunnel is testament to that story, or that journey I've just spoken about. And it is something I've put together to try and move beyond the limitations that my personality and my character had when I became an adult. And it's just baby steps forward. Once this record is out, I'm planning to perform all year, out in the streets, probably in Oxford and Cambridge this year, depending on where I'm living, but that will start from March, April time. And again, my goal is to progress as a singer. I feel like I've probably got about 10, 15 years more of great singing in me. Based on some of my favourite singers and how they've aged, guys like Glenn Hughes, they seem to really sing very well up until the age of about 55, 60. And then they still sing well, the best ones, but they don't necessarily sing quite as consistently or quite as well, quite as often. So unfortunately, there is the reality of getting old as a singer. As a guitar player, you've got your hands, they tend to last longer, and you've got your guitar, which you can just replace. Singers, we can't do anything about our instrument. We're stuck with it other than our health and looking after it. So there are some limitations as we get older. Things do start to change with the body. But I'm hoping that I've got at least the next 10 years plus to really work where I'm at now, because I feel like the last 10, 15 years has been putting together all this knowledge in the way I wanted. And now I feel like I've kind of got a decade in front of me, which isn't too bad considering, most athletes have 10 or 15 years of a career and then they have to move on. So I'm kind of seeing myself like that. I've got 10, 15 good years in front of me, and I'm going to work to make the most of that. I'm really planning to do 5 records over the next decade, which should really be my legacy in terms of, what I want to leave when I'm gone. So, yeah, these records will be the records that I'm going to make over the next decade. Will be, sequels to Escaping the Tunnel, and will be an ongoing adventure with this thing I've developed now and that I'm starting to enjoy more. And that's it, guys. In terms of release, just to finish up, releasing this EP, it's getting sent off for mastering next week. That'll probably take a couple of weeks. So I'm probably planning for a March release. And from there onwards, you guys can enjoy the tracks. The tracks themselves vary somewhat. Two are stylistically similar, and then 2 are stylistically a bit more unique. None of these tracks anybody's heard before. They're all new tracks. So if there's sometimes people ask about old tracks I haven't recorded. I will get round to recording these older tracks at some point with better versions. Potentially one of my records over the next 10 years will be a kind of acoustic live record where I basically go through tracks that I've had over the years that I've been trying to get better and improve at, and put them together into a kind of live record. But we'll see. So 4 new tracks, hopefully aiming for March and onwards and upwards from there. Happy New Year to anyone that's out there, and hopefully 2021 will start to pick up now. I know there's a lot of doom and gloom. I'm trying to ignore it at the moment. I'm trying to just focus on what I can control again, because I got consumed over the Christmas period with stuff that I can't do anything about, unfortunately. But we will see. Happy New Year, and I'll catch you soon, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.